guests are a wildly popular K-pop group. Please welcome BLACKPINK.
BLACKPINK, the 4-member K-pop group under YG Entertainment, is undoubtedly the biggest girl group in the world right now. Since their debut in 2016, they have been breaking record after record and have mustered one of the strongest fan bases in the world. The 4 members Jisoo, Jennie, Rosé, and Lisa are beloved, praised, and, for the lack of a better word, worshipped by millions. Predominantly by young teenage girls who go out of their way to support the band members they look up to and who celebrate the fact that these women are taking over the world. But how did they get into our area? How did they become the queens of K-pop? And what are the elements of their success? BLACKPINK's discography is full of viral EDM and hip-hop inspired tracks. They are known for their stunning looks, the bombastic visuals in their music videos, and for having countless deals with the most expensive fashion and beauty brands. Their music and content are in equal parts addicting and easily digestible, especially for the Western market, which plays into their wide appeal. As does the air of exclusivity the rarity of their content produces. Of course, the 4 members are talented women, and still the group as a whole relies more on recognizability than putting on stellar performances or creating innovative music. You know it's them just by looking at the choreography moves, or when you hear Rosé's unique voice, when BLACKPINK in your area resounds in the room, when you see the black and pink color combination, or hear phrases like do-do-do-do or ratatata. You know it's Lisa when you see these bangs, know it's Rosé when you see long, blonde flowing hair. And I believe the recycled teddy formula many fans criticize is also part of that marketing tactic. They would lose their musical recognizability if they experimented too much with their sound. More important than these elements, however, I would say is their concept. They are a girl group that promises multi-dimension with their name, with being BLACKPINK. They aren't just cute or pretty, they are BLACKPINK. They are fierce and sexy and badass too. And while they didn't invent the girl crush concept, they pretty much perfected it and own it now. They attracted many international fans with their concept back in the 2010s when typically cute girl groups dominated the K-pop industry. But the most important ingredient, and that plays into the idea of their concept as well, is that they are a group that sells pure confidence. The main product of their performance is utter confidence in themselves and in their version of femininity. They are successful, rich, and despite the more badass concepts, unapologetically girly women who break records and who celebrate themselves. No one could deny the impact these 4 Asian women conquering the world have. They bring an almost effortless energy, always standing in the center of attention wherever they go, and they carry themselves with absolute confidence. Whether it's Jennie presenting herself in a photo shoot, or it's Lisa exuding charisma on stage. Who else is saying their own name around 40 times in the first solo track and demanding people to love them? And it's the most apparent in the way they are orchestrated in their music videos, with this on-brand, larger-than-life feeling. And even in the details, they're effortlessly taking up room. See how their name is usually written in all caps? How their first album was simply called The Album, no further explanation needed. There's the show, the movie, Lisa's solo is called La Lisa, I could go on. They are constantly shouting their own name in their songs or referencing previous tracks. They are loud, proud, and girly, and that confidence is sparking over to their audience. So why did I make this video, you might ask? Isn't that empowering? I'd like to start with saying I don't have the answer to what good and bad confidence is. I won't tell you who has the right to feel empowered by BLACKPINK and who doesn't. If you enjoy their music and their message, I am very glad for you. In this video, I will explain why I think BLACKPINK's portrayal of themselves isn't something we should look up to or aspire to imitate, but firstly, that doesn't mean that their role in the music industry right now isn't powerful or important, and secondly, that doesn't mean that you aren't allowed to feel different about this. I even want you to disagree with me. Let's discuss and argue, but of course, please stay respectful. So my first question for all of you is, please take a moment and think of women or female artists you find inspiring or empowering. What is it about them that makes you feel empowered? What traits do they possess that qualify them as queens, feminist icons, or girl bosses, as cringy as these words might be? I shared my answer in the description of this video and I'd love to know what it is for you. And of course, for the Blinks watching, let me know why you love Blackpink and how they make you feel. For any non-Blackpink fans and the so-called antis, don't use this video and my criticism of the group as fuel to hate on the members. It is not my intention to spread hate, and any hateful comments will be deleted, no matter who gets hated on. Also, another disclaimer, I will use the term the members and the group's name interchangeably because they stand for their brand and for what they sing, even if they didn't write those lyrics personally. And for the sake of simplicity, and to not make this video 3 hours long, I will be generalizing some things. There are counter-arguments to some of the claims I will make, and if you want to add those, feel free to write them in the comments. Okay, I don't think I can make my intentions any clearer. The people who want to hate on me will do so regardless of what I say, so we might as well just get into the meat of this video. So I just said the main appeal and the core of Blackpink as a group is their confidence. And what's wrong with being confident? Especially as a woman in a cruel industry. The problem I have with Blackpink's confident portrayal of themselves is about where that confidence is rooted in. Let's look at the elements that they both pride themselves on and get praised for, and re-evaluate if these are things that we should aspire to have as well. Are the things Blackpink stand for really worth celebrating? One of the main allures of the members, and therefore the group as a whole, is their luxurious lifestyle. Their clothes, the vacations they do, the events they go to, and the accessories they wear. Could you imagine their Instagram accounts not being full of these things? And something I have seen Blinks take the most pride in are the brand deals each individual member has. Who has what deal, what commercial, who is wearing which luxury item, who got the more expensive outfit. Blackpink themselves reference the brands they work with a lot in their lyrics, and overall, they remind the listener how rich they are. Let's look into some of their songs. Of course, we'll have to start with Money, Lisa's second track that went viral last year. Everyone's silent, listen to my money talk. My money moves, money I choose, Celine my shoes, walking on you, my money rules. Watch how my ones and yens and dollars be dropping on you. In Shutdown they sing, make the money rain, don't trip baby, sit humbly, just sit baby. Catch me when you hear my Lamborghini go vroom 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 vroom. Bunch of wannabes that wanna be me 3 if I was you. Been around the world, pearls on your girl. Flip it over and see the price tag, ain't cheap baby. Stay in your own lane cause I'm about to swerve. Catch me when you hear my Lamborghini go vroom 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 vroom. In Pretty Savage, it's all my diamonds, they yellow or bright white. In Do 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 Do, our hands are full of a fat check. Pink Venom, this the life of a vandal, masked up and I'm still in Celine, designer crimes or it wouldn't be me. Diamonds shining, flying private side by side with the pilot up in the sky, and in Telly, mine's is mine, yours is mine, this is mine, get in line. It's giving, look at you, now look at me. A fun fact about me, I have recently written an assignment about gangsta rap, and one of the things the artist I was writing about always did was painting himself as superior to everyone around him on the basis of his bank account. This typical brag in rap songs we have heard 100 times before. You're poor, I am rich, and therefore I'm better than you. Since writing that assignment, I came to think how in many ways Blackpink's discography is gangsta rap in pink. They too remind the listener how much richer they are in order to orchestrate themselves as superior. And sure, that's normalized, many artists do it, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing. If successful artists feel the need to brag about something, they could reference the records they have broken or the many fans they have. They don't need to bring their net worth into this, especially in a demeaning manner. I could write a whole essay about Lisa's song Money alone. To this day, I still cannot fathom how she heard this song and thought, yes, that's me. That's how I want to present myself to the world in my first solo ever. That's what I want to sing to my loyal fans about. Regarding the flexing culture in general, it's so funny to me how fans eat songs up where artists brag about their wealth and lifestyle, things the fans can never achieve, and even have the audacity to talk about burning money when it's the hard-earned money of the fans themselves that made them rich in the first place. And instead of showing gratitude for the lifestyle they live, they are practically rubbing it in their faces. BLACKPINK are setting up unattainable ideals for their young fans, promote irresponsible spending, and practically brag about everything that makes capitalism a broken system. I don't have to tell you the implications these lifestyles, Lamborghinis, and private jets have for the climate. How hypocritical it is that they were appointed ambassadors by the UN to speak about the climate crisis. I don't need to tell you that there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, that even luxury fashion brands underpay their workers overseas. I shouldn't have to tell you the implications of bragging about diamonds and priding yourself on having these deals with brands that are involved in the diamond industry when that's one of the most cruel, inhumane, and deadly businesses in the world. It may look cool or sound nice to see Jennie reference her deal with Chanel, but if you think about it for even a second, the whole system crumbles. If you think about it, there's nothing to celebrate or to be proud of, and it shouldn't matter that everyone else does it too. The deeper problem here is, in my opinion, that we are so desperate to label the women we see on our screens as bosses that we would just decide anything they do that men do in the industry as well, for example, brag about their money or be rude and careless, are signs of a girl boss. When in reality, these traits are pretty obviously not positive, so why should we act like it's a good thing when a woman does it? We shouldn't aspire to copy men's mistakes for the sole reason of being equal to them.
What is it about BLACKPINK? What is it about what you stand for that people feel connected to the art that you release?
I mean, that's a question we ask. So, like, I ask every day. I mean, is it different? I guess people are kind of, oh, that's new. You know, they're attracted to something new. So maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
New is it? And I also think your production's amazing.
I mentioned before how BLACKPINK, in their name alone, promises multidimension, a depth that goes beyond labeling a woman as cute or beautiful. But let's take a look at it again. While reading their lyrics or listening to them speak in interviews, I found that the idea of multidimension ends with the concept itself. They use titles like Pink Venom or Pretty Savage and just stop. There is no nuance or depth to these concepts. If you choose a group's name with the intent to show a more well-rounded, multifaceted image of women, please do it justice. The way the concept is executed is nothing but frustratingly shallow and repetitive. Real multidimension, in my opinion, would be discovering darkness within you, like your fears or things you dislike about yourself, as well as talking about dreams and aspirations, desires, and simply truth. Honesty about you as a human being. Artists have the power to console other people and make them feel understood and not alone whenever they decide to share their story and struggles. It's just sad to admit that in BLACKPINK's music, they hardly ever express true emotions. Many of their songs lack depth and meaning, and the few songs that express vulnerable feelings I find quite boring and shallow as well. Not to mention that for the majority, the members didn't participate in making them, so if anything, it's what the songwriters want you to think the members' softer sides are. Neither are the members able to express themselves in the music, nor in the way they build the personas they present to the world. They are not given the room to grow or change or present different sides of themselves. Rosé is the dreamy indie girl with a guitar, Jennie is the chic, spoiled rich girl with an attitude, Jisoo is the sweet Korean girl next door, and Lisa is the best of both worlds with her tomboy persona and fierceness on stage and the bubbly, cute, not like other girls persona off stage. In my opinion, the four members barely share anything with the world that would make them vulnerable. I have never heard them talk about any weaknesses, faults, or fears, except for the mentally and physically draining time they spent as trainees. That was all the Netflix documentary centered around anyway. How hard it was for them to be apart from their families during their time as trainees is as personal as they get. The sad thing is, while that's quite boring and frustrating, it's working. They have to stay on brand, and their brand is the unchanging idea of confidence and badassery. It's kind of the same phenomenon as the strong female characters we see on screen. Women like Captain Marvel or Rey Skywalker or other picture-perfect portrayals of women who never fail or show weaknesses or a human level of all-roundedness. Screenwriters seem to think giving their female characters any flaw makes them automatically misogynistic, when in reality, holding women to an unattainable level of skill and competence and confidence in order for them to be perceived as strong is the really messed up thing. The result of that is, these characters feel inauthentic and not like real people, and it prevents viewers from truly identifying with them. You could argue now, it's not the job of the members to make people feel connected with them, and you're right. Their job as an idol is literally to sell a perfect idea fans get fixated on. Them not being relatable is part of their concept and appeal. And let's be honest, how many fans really want to know how the four of them are feeling, when right now they are presenting their fans a perfect idea to get swept up in? This is a trickier topic than the previous ones. It's not like the members sing about how pretty they are and simultaneously call you ugly, but still there is a lot we need to unpack. First of all, their outward appearance is an integral part of their success. Their looks got them the brand deals they pride themselves on and get praised for by their fans. Their looks made them the most followed Korean artists on Instagram, and their looks drive the views of their fan cams in music videos and performances. Not exclusively, but still. Their concept only works due to their good looks. Nobody would be interested in their quote-unquote black sides if their pink sides weren't as pretty and pleasing to look at. If they weren't above average attractive artists, people wouldn't want to watch their, compared to other groups, mediocre dance practice for the 1 billionth time. It's simple, we like to look at pretty people. That's just how the world works. And still, I dislike the chain reaction of good looks equal brand deals equal money and status equal something worth bragging about. If there was nothing else associated with looking good, them being marketed as the most beautiful people on this earth wouldn't be that problematic. If you think their looks aren't part of their marketing tactic, let me remind you what the founder of YG Entertainment himself said when BLACKPINK debuted. He practically said he didn't try to make them different from their predecessors 21, but in contrast to them, the girls are pretty now. I wanted to create a group of pretty girls who could sing well. I thought, what if a bunch of pretty girls do hip-hop? K-pop companies just know how marketable beauty is. Having fans obsess over idols and over their looks drives up the views and sales after all. The main demographic of the K-pop fandom are straight, rather young females, and so boy groups are marketed as beautiful boyfriends, while girl groups are marketed as the people those fans would want to be like. In BLACKPINK's case, Blinks get obsessed with the glow-up Lisa head, with the way Rosé looks on stage, with Jisoo's seemingly effortless, timeless beauty. I find it truly troubling how many comments I've seen that praised the members' looks and in the same breath called them queens, as if the fact that they look good made them queens, as if the outward appearance has anything to do with your worth. Or the amounts of comments that stated body goals and I wish I looked like that, and the people who are using them as quote-unquote thinspo. I wish the members or the company were aware of the responsibility they hold and would be more transparent with what goes into transforming from this to this. But since they aren't, let me just say the following. People don't look like this in real life. They only achieve this with plastic surgery. Yes, they did have it. No, puberty cannot make your nose smaller or give you double eyelids. As well as with all kinds of skin treatments, with high quality makeup and professional makeup artists, private chefs and dietitians, and probably really unhealthy diets, with coaches, regular workouts, deals with the most expensive high fashion labels that clothe you in the most exclusive outfits, with Photoshop, hip and butt pads that give you false curves, skin whitening, false nails and lashes, and so on and on and on. Let's get cliché for a second here, but I have to say it. Please try to remind yourself that every single body is different, and that big noses, small eyes, thin lips, every skin complexion, crooked teeth, big stomachs, and all the other things K-pop tells you are ugly are beautiful as well.
I'm kind of tomboy too. I'm not that sweet, girly.
Hey.
Can you tell it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is essentially the culmination of all the other points I made. You don't have their looks, their money, their status, their brand deals, their private jets, their clothes, and therefore they are superior. And they let you know. In Pretty Savage they sing, I wore something similar to you, but it looks better on me. We seem similar, but we are different from the core. In Kick It, it's I ain't nothing like the same girls that you've had. Crazy Over You, I've been known to kiss and tell, send girls to wishing wells. I haven't talked about this aspect yet, but getting the boy and receiving a lot of romantic attention is another way how they are painted as more successful than all of these other girls they are distinguishing themselves from. As in, really or see you later. All the girls around you have nothing to offer. Stop talking to them, cut them off from your life, you will come to me anyway. The girl beside you is a fool. You picked the wrong person. You should have only looked at me and worshipped me like a queen bee. And of course, there are endless instances where the lyrics just scream pick me girl. In Do 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 Do, it's I do it however I want because I'm a bad girl. I don't know about you, but the chorus of Lalisa gives me really strong pick me vibes. I could put the entirety of Type a Girl in here, but especially the line, I'm not like these other girls at all. Just, The lyrics of Telly say, I say F it when I feel it, cause no one's keeping tally, I do what I want with who I like. Sometimes I like to go play dirty, just like all the F-boys do. That's my choice and there's no one I'm hurting, and that's not girly. This part of Crazy Over You, never the regular degular, would clean my mess up, but I'd rather mess it up. Simple as so-so, I need that oh no, don't you know I'm a loco. In Boombaya, been a bad girl, I know I am, and I'm so hot, I need a fan. I don't want a boy, I need a man. And this line has always left a bad taste in my mouth. We don't only get to run the game in high heels. No, you're not. I find it interesting how this mindset of being above other girls is also represented in their choreographies, especially with Lisa's moves. In the beginning of Lalisa, the male dancers build a throne for her and all the female ones are lying or praying in front of her. In Money, it's the everyone silent, listen to my money talk. There's also this move in Shutdown where Lisa commands one of the dancers. And how the female dancers are saluting the members or dropping down on their command in Pink Venom. Am I the only one who gets a bad taste in my mouth when seeing that? It's the visualization of the line, bark because the leash on your neck is mine. It seems that they can only orchestrate themselves as badass, cool girls when they're putting down others. I think their black and pink concept definitely adds to this quirky, we're so different vibe the company wants to uphold. And by that, I have never seen them encourage their fans, have messages that say, it's okay to be the way you are. It's always, at the very least in their lyrics, I'm better than you and therefore you're not right. BLACKPINK are very good at making something sound powerful or empowering. Just look at them strut over stage, watch them break records, being pretty in the music video, right? But at the end of the day, they're empowering no one but themselves. We all heard the phrase, all of this is YG's fault, a million times. There is a fine line between actually acknowledging that the company made most of the decisions for their career and also giving the members the credit when it's due. Because please don't act like these aren't four of the most influential women of this generation. That's just my assessment, but if they wanted to do things differently, they would. If they wanted to see their fans outside of one paid-for live stream per year, they would. If they wanted to write music on their own, they would. If they wanted to take responsibility of scandals they've had, they would. If they really cared about the ethical implications of the brands they're working with, they wouldn't still have these deals. Also, the man you call YG, who I've seen many people paint as the single villain behind BLACKPINK, rightfully so to be honest, stepped back from all positions he held in the company after a bunch of controversies in 2019, as did his brother who was the CEO. I was shocked to read that because fans often paint the picture of YG, the man, not the company, being responsible for the lack of creative control BLACKPINK has and so forth. It seems that every critique-worthy thing is YG's fault, and everything the fans enjoy, the members get credited for. To be fair, we don't have much insight into what they can control and what not, but personally, I would assume that idols as successful and long in the game as they are, they would have more to say in their career than you give them credit for. And it's what I would expect from people who are the self-proclaimed revolution. Also, if you think they don't have any control over their career, how can you praise them as icons and queens? But I guess that's another phenomenon in the K-pop industry as a whole, the paradox of simultaneously babying and worshipping idols.
BLACKPINK is the revolution.
Whenever I hear that phrase, I ask myself, what exactly are they revolutionizing? BLACKPINK are working perfectly in the framework that has always been in place. They are the most conventionally attractive people who sing about their money, fame, and boys with generic phrases we've all heard a million times already. They're not inventing anything new in that sense, they don't bring interesting things to the table. Their songs become old quite fast. Lyrics, choreography, performance, and vocals range, with a few exceptions, between decent and disappointing. The overall image of BLACKPINK, and by default their image of femininity and girl power, is drenched in capitalist ideals, putting other women down, a disproportionate focus on looks, fashion and status, and hiding their true feelings and more vulnerable human sides behind picture-perfect personas. Their version of feminism, of BLACKPINK, of being badass and cute, is not attainable. Always sexy, always desirable, no flaws, only confidence, and the constant display of their items of status. Good looks, fashion, luxury, jets. Money, money, money. Speaking of money, the company's sole interest is to make money. Don't let them fool you that they care about uplifting women. In my eyes, the company is using feminist and empowering ideas in their music for the biggest monetary success, and the 4 members play the roles perfectly, and they too profit off of these shallow ideals. Again, just my assessment, but I don't think the members are interested in changing the formula that works so well right now. Maybe the K-pop industry isn't the best place to look for true empowerment in general. But if that's not what you're looking for, if you're satisfied with having a good time, ignoring some cringy lyrics here and there, and enjoying BLACKPINK's performance, that's perfectly fine. If you love Lisa for her dancing abilities and love Jennie's rap, their music, charisma, or the chemistry they have with each other, also liking their outfits and being in love with their visuals and style is not a bad thing in itself either. But please think about what kind of role models they are and what exactly it is that you find fascinating about them. Does it inspire you to look at their outfits? Or does it trigger a spiral of self-loathing? Do you want their money, their fame, their looks? Or do you genuinely enjoy their music, message, humor, and personalities? Do they make you feel uplifted or weighed down? Music is made to move you, and if BLACKPINK songs do that for you, I'm very glad. And if listening to Do 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 makes you feel powerful, even better. However, you can enjoy something, but that doesn't automatically mean it's feminist. Thank you so much for watching. As I am writing these words, I am just wondering what kinds of reaction this video will get. Again, this is not a hateful video. I don't hate BLACKPINK, but also, obviously, I'm not a Blink because I want more out of the artists I follow than what they're currently providing or stand for. I had to get this off my chest as I have been wondering about BLACKPINK's appeal for so long. I hope I made my points clear and my words won't get taken out of context. Much love, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.